This is Kite Cutter TV with another presentation. We gotta talk about this. Okay, guys, if you voted for Biden and you're a woman, shame on you. Planned Parenthood explains it all. If you're a black person in America and you voted for Biden, shame on you. Look at all the things Biden has said in the past about black people, and he's basically using them as pawns. If you're Latino and you voted for Biden, shame on you. If you live in America and you voted for Biden, shame on you. If you voted for Biden, period, shame on you. Biden is in the process of destroying America, okay? Biden has made all these promises to illegal aliens, and basically now so many migrant caravans are coming, and it's making another crisis at the border. Now you've got these DACA people that was only supposed to be a temporary solution created in 2012 by Obama. Now these DACA people are talking about a pathway to citizenship when this was only supposed to be a temporary solution. I'm sure we've all been there. Have you guys ever had that person that has nowhere to go and they might have got kicked out of the house, divorced, whatever the case is, and they need somewhere to stay? They tell you that they want to stay at your house for maybe 4 to 6 weeks. That 4 to 6 weeks turns into 4 to 6 months. Next thing you know, you can't get rid of these people. These people want to live in your house, and not only live in your house and don't want to pay rent, don't want to pay mortgage. That's exactly what this is like. You give people an inch, they want a mile. These far left-wing people are insatiable. They're going to eat their own. Joe Biden better be careful. All of these promises that he promised in his campaign are going to come back to bite him in the butt. So if you voted for Biden, woe unto you. If you support Biden, woe unto you. Because now everything that he promised in his election campaign, he's doing backflips because he's realizing all those promises that he made, he can't serve it up. He's going and telling migrants now, oh, you know what? Now isn't the time to come. When is the time to come? According to Trump, Trump was trying to stop all this. Everybody hated Trump. The media portrayed Trump like he was a racist, which was false news, fake news. So be careful what you wish for, be careful who you vote for, and woe unto you when you have to reap what you sow. Check this out.
Nonprofits in the Valley and in Matamoros are coordinating with cities across the RGV to handle a possible influx of migrants in the coming months. Local 23's Iris Karami brings us the latest from the organizations on the ground, reporting the latest in these efforts.
We aren't able to provide the same services as we did before due to COVID. We just don't have the space.
With a potential new wave of asylum seekers, the Good Neighbor settlement needs more space. So the city of Brownsville has a plan.
The individuals that need to stay behind, they're not being sent to shelters. They're actually being asked to stay at hotel rooms.
Sosa says that the asylum seekers she sees are those just being released from detention centers, not those who recently crossed.
Border Patrol drops them off directly here to the bus station. And then from here, the city officials, the emergency management team is here assisting them by calling their loved ones, their family members that are going to sponsor them.
Team Brownsville is another nonprofit included in the region-wide planning.
We've been getting about 50 or 60 a day since last week.
The Nonprofit Resource Center of Matamoros says a few months ago there were about 680 population in the Matamoros migrants camp, and that number has only grown.
And then right now the number is starting to increase, and it looks like there's an average of about 1,000 people in the camp.
Zavala says Biden's election has brought hope to asylum seekers, while nonprofits are planning without the certainty of funds.
We are planning and we are getting ready for this huge influx that we all think we're going to see. And we're just going to do our best to try to keep assisting as many people as possible.
Putting local first, I'm Iris Karemi.
Meanwhile, the Border Patrol reported an uptick in apprehensions of migrant families and unaccompanied minors over the past month. Thousands who were turned away under the Trump administration awaiting President Biden's policy changes. What will that do for them? William Lajeunesse picks up our team coverage in San Diego. Hi, William.
Well, Dana, the challenge for the president is how to turn on the faucet without getting a flood. I've spoken to agents from California to Texas, and they report many steady increase in apprehensions in their sector, especially among Central American families and unaccompanied children. Specifically, the Rio Grande Valley, and Tucson. Now, right now, the words of candidate Biden in 2020 are coming back and creating a problem for President Biden, because smugglers are using his own promises to restart asylum, to legalize the undocumented population here in the U.S., and to stop ICE on interior enforcement, and that is helping fuel the surge, I am told. That is also creating a backup along the border in Mexico because of Title 42. That is the law that allows the Border Patrol to deport everyone because of the pandemic except children. That is creating the backup. Well, yesterday, officials said they were going to try to create this task force to unite children separated from families under President Trump.
The Trump administration cut down, in essence, shut off the nation's asylum system so that these parents were left with no other choice to protect their children other than pretty much handing them over to the U.S. government.
So right now you've got these camps that are being set up along the border, again in Tijuana and Matamoros, because number one, the individuals who were deported by President Trump under the MPP program, there are about 60,000 there. Then you have those who are now being deported because of the pandemic, and they don't want to leave because, of course, the administration says just be patient, you'll get your chance. Well, Mexico is beginning to push back, not wanting to accept people who are being deported just south of the wall where I'm at right now. So what I'm told is happening is many parents are sending their children over who cannot be deported under age 17. Then they're trying to get over the fence somewhere else without the kid in tow, which of course is much easier, and then hopefully eventually get reunited with that kid. They're also saying that because there are no prosecutions, there's no consequence, so there is no deterrent.
If you or I were to leave our child with a human trafficker and smuggler, we would lose our parental rights to that child. But here we're going to reunite them and give them legal status. That's what we're concerned about.
So we asked HHS if they were testing all of those children for COVID, and they would not confirm that they were, saying, quote, "We cannot comment on questions specific to the Biden administration." Dana?
William Lajeunesse there in San Diego for us early this morning. We appreciate it. Thank you.
Vaccination sites will be safe from immigration officers. The Department of Homeland Security says it won't be making routine enforcement arrests at different locations. Instead, vaccination sites will be considered sensitive locations, and arrests will only be made under what they're calling extraordinary circumstances.
The Flathead County Sheriff's Office assisting U.S. Customs and Border Patrol in finding a man who's wanted for illegally entering into the United States. Nassim Ali Saleh Mohammed is one of 5 people suspected in an illegal border crossing into Montana near Eureka. This happened several days ago, and it led to a high-speed car chase and 3 arrests. He is 22 years old with a medium build and was last seen wearing a camo jacket, black pants, and high-cut muck boots. According to Border Patrol, he is a Somalian national and a Canadian legal permanent. If you see him, you're advised not to approach, but instead call 911 or the Flathead County Sheriff's Office.
Of course not. Joe Biden, I don't even think Joe Biden knows what he's doing. There are people behind the scenes pulling the strings. There's no justification for stopping the wall that's already there, that's designed to keep criminals out. There's no reason for him to ignore the families. Our family members are in the cemetery. At the same time, he's rewarding illegal aliens with amnesty. It's just not fair. It's not right, and I don't know how they can justify it.
Welcome back. 15 minutes after the hour now, as our nation's businesses struggle to stay afloat. President Biden shifting his focus to immigration, with even more orders expected today. But why is this a priority over the American worker?
Our next guest is an entrepreneur who has been forced to close nearly 300 franchise locations. Founder of Fit Body Boot Camp, Bedros Keuilian joins us live with his thoughts. Thank you for being here. We appreciate your time.
Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it.
So what was that decision like to close all of those franchise locations? And tell me how difficult this time has been.
Well, I'll tell you, in the beginning in March, obviously, we all felt like we had a social duty to make sure that we keep people safe. But as we found out the 99.6% survival rate, and when we found out the facts about COVID, it's been so heartbreaking to see small business owners who run our Fit Body Bootcamp locations throughout the United States and Canada shutting down. Nearly 50% of our locations have now shut down permanently, and it's because of the poor decisions of governors such as Newsom and Cuomo and Murphy.
Here are the 10 poles of the Biden immigration plan. I'm going to get to these, and then I'm going to ask you some questions on the back end. 100-day pause on deportations, 8-year path to citizenship for 11 million people, 3-year path for Dreamers, a lot of money to Central America, increasing the number of green cards, and halting construction of the border wall. Bedros, I'm not going to put you on the spot and ask you to weigh in on immigration for or against, but like so many small business owners, you focus on what you have in front of you, which is your business, which is your livelihood. It seems to me that Washington, specifically the Biden administration, with regard to this action and so many other executive orders, is focused on stuff that, quite frankly, you wish he was not focusing on, versus focusing on giving money to small businesses, targeting the stimulus to you guys. How do you respond to that when you see what is happening?
It's an absolute slap in the face of small business owners across the country, because you have to worry about the people in your country first before even addressing immigration. I'm all for addressing immigration once we take care of the small business owners who are the backbone of the American country.
Let me ask you, out of all of those 300 franchise locations that have had to close, how many people do you think that now leaves unemployed?
Well, if you figure at least 6 people per location, and when you look at the unemployment there, and what about the fact that they call gyms to be non-essential? Certainly the owners that own these gyms are essential. The foods that they supply to their families is essential. The employees who work there are essential. The clients who work out at our Fit Body Bootcamp gyms, they're essential for their mental health and their physical health. Yet we're focusing on immigration instead of taking care of small businesses here in our country. What a slap to the face.
30 seconds remaining on this final question. Whether it's immigration, whether it's the response to small businesses that, quite frankly, we saw during the summer when these small businesses were being destroyed and hands were thrown up and being like, well, there's nothing we can do about it. Why does it always seem like the American small business and the American worker are always put last?
You know, I think agenda always gets put first, which by default, all of a sudden, you see small businesses and the American worker put last. And I think if President Biden really wants to be a great leader, he needs to focus on his people, our country. If he said he wants to unite us, now is the time to prove it to small businesses.
Bedros, I always say, they tell you on an airplane, if the plane's going down, you put on your mask first before putting on somebody else's. I stick with that analogy because it is so appropriate in this situation. Got to help ourselves before we can help others. Bedros Keuilian, we appreciate your time this morning. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Karen Salinas crossed the border from Mexico illegally at age 7. She now lives in the United States legally as a DACA recipient, working as a photographer in Winston-Salem. President Biden's bill proposal, the U.S. Citizenship Act, didn't come as a shock.
I wasn't surprised because I saw it coming. He promised to help us from the beginning, but I was surprised about how quickly he was able to act and come up with a solution for us.
She's part of a DACA group on Facebook where dreamers discuss their applications, renewals, and share good news. In Biden's proposed bill, DACA recipients could apply for a green card immediately and then citizenship 3 years later. Salinas says the possibility is exciting.
It will give us a path to citizenship that we never had to begin with. So now I can see myself becoming a citizen in the near future, which was not an option that we had.
Salinas knows the bill faces an uphill battle on Capitol Hill. She wants lawmakers to give other dreamers and her a chance.
I think that we deserve a chance because we have been here all our lives. This is all we know as home. We contribute to society just like any other American. And we're not asking for handouts. We are willing to work towards any solution that will allow us to be here permanently. You want to give Grandma a hug?
But it goes beyond dreamers. Salinas knows it would help undocumented immigrants like her parents. The bill focuses on an 8-year path to citizenship. Undocumented immigrants could apply for temporary legal status, with the ability to apply for a green card if they pass background checks and pay taxes 5 years later. 3 years after holding a green card, they could apply for citizenship after passing more background checks and demonstrating knowledge of U.S. civics and English.
It will give them a path to citizenship, and it will help keep our family together.
For Salinas, it's all about giving her family a chance for a more secure future in America.
Thanks for watching. Like, share, and subscribe. Till next time, God bless. Peace.